All right, guys, welcome back to another 500. This is my second massive multiplayer game that I'm casting here. The first one was a lot of fun. It was with my friend War Badger, who lives in Ireland. I live in Kansas City, Missouri, FYI, and just enjoying making international friends through this game. It's been really cool. I did study Spanish in Guatemala and Nicaragua, and met a lot of really cool European people. Two of my favorite people were from Switzerland. One, Gael, was from the French-speaking part of Switzerland, and Marcus was from the um, German Swiss-speaking part. And just really nice people, really fun, intelligent, interesting people. Met people from Canada, met people from Poland. Um, I met a girl who was Polish, but she'd learned her English in Great Britain, so she sounded like a Brit. Well, not like that. By the way, I met a girl from Great Britain, and I accidentally like really offended her by imitating her accent. And so, if you're from Great Britain and you don't know this, um, American people love the Cockney accent. We love it. It's just got so much character. It's so rich, and just all the words are cut off. You know, I mean, we love it. We love it. Um, and even though that was a terrible impression of it, anyway, we were all drinking around Lake Atitlan at one of the 12 towns around Lake Atitlan in Guatemala, and I'd had a few drinks, and we were just laughing. We were at this really cool little restaurant right there on the lake, and she said something, and then I just imitated what she'd said, but like perfectly in her Cockney accent. And all of a sudden, she got like real embarrassed, and everybody around could tell. And like I mentioned, the Polish girl was there who'd been educated in Great Britain. Like they all understand this class thing with accents that I don't understand. I didn't know I don't know anything about how you can insult someone with an accent in Great Britain. To me, it sounds really cool, and I love it. I felt so bad. I talked to her later. I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry. Like I could tell you were embarrassed. Like I wasn't trying to insult you or call you low class or something. Like honestly, I love your accent. I think it's really cool. Lots of character, lots of, like I love it." And she was cool about it. She's like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. Like it's just kind of something that we're brought up with, and I've talked about it to people since, and some people have compared it like, well, it's kind of like maybe if you imitated a black person in the United States and how they would feel insulted if you did that, or maybe someone with a real deep southern accent, like you wouldn't do that to their face, would you?" And I was like, I guess I wouldn't, because I'm sensitive to racism and classism here in the United States and the way that it presents. And that, now I'm aware of it with British people. I won't do that anymore. But it was really like a case of me just totally putting my foot in my mouth and hurting someone's feelings. I did not mean to do that. But anyway, it's cool I think more Americans need to be around people from other countries and just spend time. Like we have this sense that like I don't know, like I'll tell you this, like there's this sort of entitlement that Americans feel that that our cities are the only ones. It's like, go to Hong Kong, man. Like go to any. I think there's something like 20 cities in China that are like New York sized big, and they're modern, and they have skyscrapers, and they've got much better transportation systems. They have light rail all over, and it's like we need to kind of just be more aware of the way the rest of the world is, because one of the things that's happening here in the U.S. is our overclass, the people who own all the money, all the corporations. They're really like getting away with paying just terrible wages. Like my parents' generation grew up. My dad was an electrician for the IBEW, and he made good money. Like I think he made like $25 an hour, and this was in 78 or something. Um, and they got double time for overtime back then. So you got paid twice your regular. He got paid $50 an hour when he was working overtime. And all that is slowly eroded now to the point where, here's a guy with a high school diploma as an electrician, had a great life. The other day he was like, "Yo, we were in we were in Italy." Like, I was like, "Wait, what? When were you in Italy?" "Oh yeah, me and Larry Schaefer went over there." That would have been in, like, I can't remember what year, 72 or something. And I did the math and I was like, "Well, you were like 26?" And he's like, "Yeah, oh yeah." And then I came back to the US and I got Pam, Pam is his current wife, but was his girlfriend at the time. And he's like, "Yeah, I brought her back." And so we went to, Barcelona, Madrid, and Italy, and, Spain and Italy, and throughout that whole area. And I was like, "And you were 26?" And he's like, "Yeah." And it's like, it just doesn't even occur to him that that's weird. That, like, I'm a teacher. I went and got a 4-year degree and a professional license as a teacher. And there's no way I could have afforded to go to Europe at 26. It's like, they really take it for granted how nice it was back when they paid working people a good wage. And of course it was good for the whole economy, because when working people have money, they spend it. When you give all the money to just this wealthy elite, they put it in offshore accounts, they put it in their banks, and it doesn't do any good. It doesn't hire anybody, it doesn't employ anybody, it doesn't buy any goods or services. I've heard people comparing this horrible income inequality to, like, a dragon. Someone like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, they're dragons. They're sitting on huge piles of gold that they'll never be able to spend. And meanwhile, people are living under bridges. It's a weird thing, but I really do think it would be good for American people to get to know people in Scandinavia and Germany and France, and just how things are done differently. I was surprised to hear, for instance, that there's no president of uh, in Switzerland, but that it's a council. I think a council of seven. I thought, wow, that's really cool. Like, very neat. Like, we don't know anything about that. And, I think our wealthy elite here in this country kind of just keep on feeding us this nonsense about how we're the greatest country in the world. Well, yeah, we are 27th in math scores, and we are 33rd in literacy scores, or, like, we're, but never mind that. Oh yeah, we haven't invested in infrastructure since 1969. Like, the greatest generation built this entire interstate system, invested heavily in the infrastructure, bridges and highways, and all that stuff. They say gives you like $3 to every $1 invested back, in terms of just accelerated commerce and stimulation of the economy and just prosperity in general. But then, like, over the last 40 years, nothing. No medical research, no investment in the infrastructure. Bridges are crumbling. People are drinking lead water. Like, it's just horrible. And, they they try to make it out to where, like, if you say anything bad about the United States, then you're a traitor. And it's like, no, man, like, let's acknowledge what's wrong and fix it. Like, anyway. So I think it's really great for people to get to know people in other countries, other cultures, and learn how things are done over there, and, like, what problems you face. I mean, for instance, I know in France, they have a big problem with Islamophobia. That they sometimes they pass laws about whether you can wear a burqa or not. Like, so there's all the conflict, sort of the same social issues that we face in the United States over things like race and religion. And I know a big thing right now is that Asian people are receiving a lot of hate and a lot of threats and a lot of physical violence, hate crimes, because of the whole China virus, and it's not exclusive to the United States. Like I said, France, I know, has its problems. I know that Britain has got its share of xenophobia. Um, they do say that good old Boris over in Great Britain, he's just Trump with a thesaurus. He's got a better vocabulary, but he's still pretty pretty hardcore, corporatist kind of, very, very right leaning gentleman. But anyway, That's got nothing to do with this. I'm just kind of jabbering, but you can see. Let's go back to the game here. Um, anyway, welcome my international friends. Maybe in the comments, tell me where you're from. That'd be kind of cool. I'd like to know where everybody hails from, so to speak. I personally have lived in Alaska. I lived in a Chupik village for a couple of years. I lived in LA for about 4 years. Um, I lived in Texas when I went to school there, and before and during for about 10 years. So I've been all around the U.S. I have been to visit Thailand. That was a lot of fun. Um, and I've been to, um, that's about it. One day I really do hope to go to Italy. I have family in Italy. I'd also like to bounce over, and I'm just fascinated. So while I was in Central America, I went to a lot of ruins there, and you go to these ruins, um, specifically the ones in Copang. Um, they're just amazing, and you walk out and you can feel the history. These are 800 years old, and so I'm waiting to go to the Parthenon. I'm waiting to go. Um, to see some of these in Greece and Italy, some of these buildings that are 2,000 years old. I'm really excited about that because if you've been to places like that, you can feel that history. You just think about thousands of years. People have been coming here, and like the Colosseum. Real people came here. 2,000 years ago to watch whatever spectacle was at hand. Cool stuff. All right, so back to the game here. You can see I'm starting to spread upwards through these islands. I now have airfields. As soon as I float my planes to here, I can then hop them. My friend here, um, South Papua, built an airfield. I gave him 5,000 wood rather, and then he didn't build it for a while. But then finally, I was like, "Hey, do you mind building it?" And he was like, "Sure." And then he did. So thanks, buddy. And then I've got another airfield here and here, and so I'm going to be hopping over to here. The plan is to smother GingerKhan. He went AFK, and he was a really important part of our game. He's got cruisers. He's got a railgun, which we can see now. And so I'm coming in with about 500 guys over here, and I'm just going to lay them all over the country. And at the flip of a switch, I'm going to declare war. A lot of them I'll just be able to take over instantaneously, like this one, because I'll be the only thing there. And then some of them I'll have a brief fight. I'm just going to make sure, just the same as I did on that other territory, I'm just going to place cannon outside of key positions and then smother his cannon with my infantry. And hopefully it can be as bloodless as possible. And by bloodless, I mean my guys. I don't want my guys to get bloodied. So we'll try to lose as few men as possible in this takeover. I'd really rather not do it. I'd rather that this were an autonomous player doing his own thing. That's just better for everyone. But he had to go. And it's funny, my wife was saying, it's weird, like, that people just leave the game. Like, they're on a team. Like, wouldn't they say something? Or, like, and if he had said something like, "Hey, I got to go and do something for, I got jury duty for the next month," or whatever, we'd be like, "Okay, hey, would you mind marching all your men out to the ocean so we can take over your stuff easier? Like, since you're leaving anyway." I've actually done that before, where I'm playing a game and it's not going so great. So somebody who I'm playing against has been a good adversary, has been a worthy opponent. I'll just say to him, "Look, I got to tell you, you've won this one. Good job. I'm going to march all my guys out to the ocean and then archive this game. But feel free to come on in and take it." Um, you know, Sometimes you feel petty and you want them to have to fight for every little inch of territory they take from you. And then other times you feel magnanimous. You're like, "Well, I'm going to leave this game anyway, so I'll just run all my guys out to the ocean and, have fun." So anyway, taking all this over, um, that'll be enjoyable. I think probably I won't come back to this game until I'm in position to do that. And then I'll invite you guys back to flip the switch over to wartime with him when I declare war on him, so you can kind of see from one moment to the next. That's always fun. We did that down here, and you could see, like, the very next minute, like, at least 4 or 5 of them had flipped over to green, that I had that had won just instantaneously. That was fun to see. All right. Other than that, we're going to start to move up into here. And, it's the spice enjoyers, I believe. Yeah, are over here. Spice enjoyers are going to be the first that we're going to be rubbing up against over here. I will say this. I wanted to attack this island so that I could have an outpost way, way out here. And I thought about it. I was like, it'd be kind of fun to build a factory on this island. And then maybe even like a railgun, just something real weirdly like abusive out in the middle of the sea, so that someone walks along and it's a double fort, so you can't see what's in it. And then all of a sudden a railgun just starts lobbing crap at your, navy. It'd be fun. Maybe even like 2 or 3. This could be like an ongoing project. But what I did notice here is that I shelled in and I noticed there already is. Look at that. There's already a factory level 1 there. I don't know how damaged it is, but it's there. So they've made a start of it. And then I don't know what this, Fortress level 1. So that's great. What a great start. But one thing I did notice that I wish I'd realized before is that this is his stuff over here, Buenos Aires. And Buenos Aires, he's like, hey, why did you attack me? You can see down here, did I provoke you or something? And I'm like, no, I don't even know you. What are you talking about? And then I made the connection. I was like, oh, this is his island. So, I'm going to take it. I don't want to provoke anybody. I certainly don't want him to, start to have any reason to bring a fleet across, this giant ocean, to square off against me. But I've already wasted so much time sending these 20 guys all the way out here, 30 guys. So they're going to take this island, and all, honestly, I do feel bad about it, just out of the blue attacking this guy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the island and then I'm going to go in here and accept his peace deal and then just see if he's okay with that. Probably not. It's probably, it's probably I'll regret this later, but we'll see. For now, that's what's up. Okay. So really nothing else to say. I do have 7 bombers in this vicinity, and the 7 bombers are all going out to just to do patrols at various places. So hopefully I'm thinking that patrol will allow me in these various places to see submarines. That's what I've been told anyway, that patrols reveal submarines. So that's the goal of these out here. And then I do have my 2 battleship are both coming over here so that they can attack this railgun as soon as I flip that war switch. I want 2 battleships lobbing in against this railgun. Very dangerous railgun at this time. Want to take him out in round 1 if possible. My other cruisers, I've got, I believe, 6 or 7 other cruisers. No, I've got like 9. Yeah, I've got 9. They're going in groups of 3 to attack various seaport cities here. You can see this guy, North Borneo, has been at war with one of our allies up here who got chased out of Asia. He's completely gone. He's gone from the game now, but he came down and landed and attacked into North Borneo. And I kind of felt like, well, God bless you, sir, because, that's great. Like he was losing. He was getting soundly trounced up here in mainland Asia, whatever this is. Bombay was kicked his butt all the way back to the ocean. But then he came over and attacked this guy. And you can see as a result, like there's not a lot of stuff in the backcountry. So North Borneo has had to move all their stuff up to the northwest here to face that invader. So that's really worked out well for me. I'm going to land all this stuff over here and position everything. I'll definitely land somebody on top of this railgun. I'll have an infantry guy just sitting, at least probably 10 infantry sitting on top of him, again, to keep him from lobbing ordnance. When you engage any kind of ranged unit in melee combat, they stop their ability. I'm not so sure about battleships or cruisers. I'm real curious about that, because how else could they fight you? Like if a stack of infantry attacks a stack of cruisers, I don't feel like that's really melee combat per se, because your infantry units are, I would assume, spread out on boats. They're not effective in the water. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever attack value you have is not from rifles and grenades and mortars and whatever else infantry use. It's got to be whatever boats they're on, maybe have like a 50 caliber machine gun on them or something. And that's how they even deal some small amount of damage against, because it's possible if you have a big enough stack of infantry, they can take out 2 or 3 cruisers, like it's possible. So, all right. Anyway, that's what's up. When I come back, I'll already have this island covered, and then we can watch as I flip the switch together, and then I'll probably wait until I've got the entire island to move on to the next video, where again I'm going to try to build some airfields, bridge all the way in. So it is a little confusing because I'm playing the 100 game. In the 100 game, it's a 100 player game instead of a 500 player game like this one. In that game, I'm already up into Southeast Asia. So don't be confused. This is the bigger game. This is a much more high stakes game with 500 people. The other one is 100 people. And I'm much further along in that 100 player game. But as you might notice over there, if you're following the 100 game stack, it's very precarious over there. And it's similarly precarious here as well. But we'll see. I feel pretty good about spreading up into Asia. The spice enjoyers here are not a huge threat. They don't have the power that we have. So I'm just hoping that continues. I do notice that Sydney here is bringing his fleet up. That's good. I also noticed that it looks like South Dutch Papua, from this island is active now. He's doing stuff. So remember, it seemed like he wasn't doing anything for a long, long time, but now he's spreading into this, and I think that's great. I love it. And again, I was worried that he was just never going to build an airfield, and there's the airfield. He built one. And so that's great. Like I can actually fly bombers from my airfield here to my airfield here, but not fighters. So that was actually really a key thing to be able to get fighters to the front as well. So if he's active, I'm happy, and if he wants to take these groups up here, that's perfectly fine. More power to you, buddy. I mean, I wish he could be having more naval support, but it does look like Otago is there with his navy. Otago's got a lot of navy out on the board. So good stuff. Anyway, feeling good about things. When we come back, we'll have fun flipping that war switch and see what happens from there. All right. Adios, amigos.